It's 2026, and U.S. travel has changed forever. 10 travel hacks for the U.S. in 2026 that nobody is talking about. From hidden fees in national parks, to FIFA World Cup 2026 host cities, to air taxis that can beat New York traffic in just 7 minutes. This is WishSpots. Let's go. National park fees in 2026 just got a major update. The National Park Service has split the entry system in two. And if you're not a U.S. resident, you could now be paying a congestion surcharge of up to $100 per park, on top of standard entry fees. International visitors are getting hit hard by this right now. But here's the part nobody talks about. There's one specific document, and it's not a passport, that lets anyone bypass this fee completely. So how do you get it? The Volunteer Pass. Log 250 volunteer hours on any trail or national park site, and your 2026 national park entry becomes completely free, regardless of nationality. $0. It's the ultimate legal workaround for the new surcharge. Look it up. Book it now. Huge news for Yosemite National Park in 2026. The timed entry reservation system is officially gone. After years of digital gatekeeping, you can now drive into Yosemite whenever you want. Freedom, right? Wrong. Removing the permit system created what travelers are now calling the midnight rush, with visitors stranded in their cars for up to 8 hours on Highway 41. But here's what almost nobody knows. There's one backdoor entrance that stays nearly empty, the Hetch Hetchy Gate. Enter through Hetch Hetchy at 5 in the morning, and you completely bypass the main valley traffic, while everyone else sits trapped in gridlock. And the best part? You arrive directly beside some of the most underrated granite walls in all of Yosemite. This is the Yosemite travel hack for 2026 that changes everything. July 4th, 2026, the U.S. Sesquicentennial, America's 250th birthday, and the government has issued a global invitation. We're talking 50 million visitors hitting the East Coast in a single week. Washington, D.C. and Philadelphia are already overcrowded, overpriced, and nearly impossible to book. But most travelers are targeting the wrong cities, because there's one ghost city in the South hosting the real hidden celebration of 1776, and hotels are still nearly half the price. So which city is it? Charleston, South Carolina. They're hosting the Sons of Liberty reenactment with 40 tall ships filling the harbor. Better views, better food, and nearly 30% cheaper than Washington, D.C., because the crowds still haven't discovered it. This might be one of the biggest hidden gems in the USA for 2026, hiding in plain sight. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is set to become the biggest World Cup in history. 16 host cities, spread across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And if you're in Seattle, Los Angeles, or Miami on match day, your Uber just became a $200 luxury ride. Hotels are triple the normal price. The crowds are unlike anything the U.S. has ever seen. So which city has the biggest drop? Kansas City. As the overlooked flyover host, hotel prices can drop by up to 60% the day after a match. And that creates the perfect travel window. You get to explore the city like an elite traveler for pennies, while the stadium seats are still warm. This might be the smartest FIFA World Cup 2026 budget travel move on the entire schedule. Physical IDs are becoming history. As of this month, 65 major U.S. airports have moved to face as passport biometric scanning. No wallet, no boarding pass. Your face is now your ticket. It sounds like the future, because it is. But there's a darker side most travelers don't know about. The biometric scan fails roughly 4% of the time, and when it does, you can get sent to a manual clearing room that may delay you for up to 3 hours. But frequent flyers discovered a simple 3-second trick that dramatically improves first-pass scans. Here's what they do. Wear polarized sunglasses right up until you reach the biometric scanner. then remove them in one smooth motion. That sudden contrast shift helps the system instantly recalibrate on your eyes and facial details. And for many travelers, it leads to a much faster first scan. One of the most underrated U.S. airport travel hacks of 2026 that almost nobody talks about. Starlink has now integrated into nearly every major U.S. domestic airline. That means passengers can get up to 500 megabits per second of Wi-Fi at 35,000 feet, often completely free. You can video call, stream movies, work in real time. The dead zone of silence in the sky is officially over. But here's what almost nobody warns you about. Cybersecurity experts say airline Wi-Fi networks have become major targets for data interception and fake hotspot attacks. And if you connect without the right privacy protections enabled, your information could be exposed before you even land. So here's the setting. Frequent flyers are turning on first. Before connecting to any airline Starlink network, go into your privacy settings and enable Limit IP Address Tracking. That feature helps mask identifying network information and adds another layer of privacy while you're connected in the air. It takes less than 30 seconds, and it could protect a huge part of your digital life. One of the best airline Wi-Fi security tips for 2026. The Las Vegas to Los Angeles high-speed rail project is real. But here's the $10 billion secret nobody tells you. Those 200-mile-per-hour trains are not expected to launch until 2029. But while everyone waits for the future, Las Vegas quietly opened something else, an underground cheat code designed to kill strip traffic forever, the Vegas Loop. Most tourists are still paying $40 Uber surcharges just to get from the Wynn to the airport. Meanwhile, there's a hidden station system moving people across the city in minutes for the price of a coffee. So how do you access it? Open your MGM or Caesars Rewards app and look for the Transit tab. Because of the massive 2026 traffic surge, some casinos are offering heavily discounted unlimited Tesla Loop passes for around $5 a day. It's basically a VIP warp pipe running underneath the city, and 90% of visitors still have no idea it exists. Open the app, save the $40. One of the best Las Vegas travel hacks of 2026, hiding in plain sight. The Teddy Roosevelt Presidential Library in Medora, North Dakota, has officially opened. A $300 million masterpiece, built directly into the hillside. Architecture critics are already calling it one of the most extraordinary buildings in America, and it's hidden in a state that almost nobody adds to their USA road trip plans for 2026. But here's the part most visitors never hear about. There's a restricted room inside the library that requires special access, and inside it sits Theodore Roosevelt's original diary from the day both his wife and mother died, on the very same afternoon. So how do you get in? Ask for the Rough Rider tour. It's not heavily advertised online, and only a handful of visitors get access each day. Small groups, climate-controlled vaults, raw American history that almost no tourist will ever experience. This might be the ultimate hidden gem in North Dakota for 2026. Solo travel across the United States has reached an all-time high in 2026. More people than ever are abandoning group tours for solo hiking and digital detox trips through places like the Great Smoky Mountains. Backcountry solo hiking is surging. The wilderness is calling, but it's also becoming more dangerous. With more travelers carrying expensive tech deep into remote trails, theft and emergency situations in isolated areas are becoming a bigger concern for solo hikers. Cameras, satellite devices, laptops, all miles away from help, which is why experienced hikers are now relying on one tool before they even step onto the trail, the Garmin Messenger app. It can connect through satellite-supported systems even when traditional cell service disappears. And if something goes wrong in the backcountry, having a reliable emergency communication tool could make all the difference. For many solo travelers, this has become one of the most important USA travel safety tools of 2026. 2026 is becoming the year of the eVTOL air taxi. Electric flying taxis are now beginning to carry passengers from JFK Airport to Manhattan in minutes. No traffic, no subway delays, no gridlock. The Uber of the sky is no longer science fiction. And for the first time, people are realizing it may not be reserved only for millionaires. Most travelers assume a flight like this would cost $500 or more. But new commuter incentives and airline partnerships are starting to lower the price dramatically. 2026 is the year of the elite explorer. While the rest of the world walks straight into every travel trap, you now have the hacks to stay one step ahead. From hidden airport tricks, to secret national park loopholes, to the smartest USA travel guide strategies for 2026. So hit subscribe, stay elite, and I'll see you in the next one.